With us now is Congressman Adam Smith, a Democrat from the state of Washington and ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, I'll get to Venezuela in a second, but first, the breaking news overnight was all of a sudden President Trump reversed himself on this vote on the House floor on releasing the Epstein files. What do you think is going on here?
Well, I mean, Trump started this whole thing when he and his MAGA movement really led the effort to politicize the Epstein files. If you remember back during the campaign, there was supposed to be all of this information about a secret cabal of Democrats who were involved, all completely made up, which became obvious when Pam Bondi became Attorney General and didn't turn anything over. What I hope we can do is sift through all of that. Let's release the documents. Let's see what's actually going on. Now, obviously, what's happened since then is the prominent figure who has been most closely linked to Epstein since then has been Donald Trump himself. So I think suddenly, spreading those rumors has come back to bite him. But let's think of the victims here. Let's just get the information out and stop all the politics back and forth. What's in there? Who should be held accountable? Instead of having Trump say, well, the Justice Department should investigate Democrats. It's not the point. Let's investigate the people who are culpable.
Do you think that now that he's saying that Republicans should vote for it, do you think we'll actually see the files?
I have no idea. It's hard to say. Trump has been anything but truthful and honest and straightforward on this issue. And obviously, the only reason he changed his position was because he knew he was going to lose. I mean, he was dragging Republicans over to the White House fairly well, begging them to not release these documents, 2 days ago? He knew he was going to lose, so he decided to go ahead and accept it. But what he actually does at this point, anybody's guess.
As I said, you are the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. There are now 15,000 U.S. military personnel around the Caribbean and surrounding South America. The USS Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier in the world there. Do you know what the plan is? What's the plan here?
I don't think anyone knows what the plan is, but I'm deeply disturbed by what John Bolton had to say and what's been coming out of President Trump's mouth. This idea that regime change is some sort of simple fix, that we can look at another country and say, gosh, we don't like their leader, they're doing all manner of bad things, let's just replace them, is something that I would have hoped that the United States of America would have learned over the last 25 years is incredibly dangerous, nowhere near as easy as it looks. And just about every time we try it, turns out worse. And that's not to say that there aren't bad governments in the world. Maduro is doing a horrible job in Venezuela. He's not the legitimately elected president of Venezuela. But the idea that the U.S. can somehow come in from 3,000 miles away and just magically fix that problem is something that we should bury as a cornerstone of our foreign policy. And now Trump, who, by the way, again, ran on saying he wasn't going to drag us into these types of conflicts, is dragging us into this type of conflict. And Bolton is right. There's no clear plan on this. There's no idea around what he's going to do. I mean, most of the time, what they've said is this is about stopping drugs. And now we're talking about this being about wanting us to change the government in Venezuela. And that's a lot of assets. That's a lot of risk to not have a clear idea of even what the president is trying to accomplish.
We mentioned that President Trump reversed himself on the Epstein file vote. He also reversed himself on some agricultural tariffs over the weekend, announcing that some tariffs will be reduced on products that include, bananas and coffee. I understand coffee is a big deal in Washington state. How do you feel? How do you feel about the reversal on these tariffs?
Look, I mean, this comes back, whether it's Epstein, Venezuela, foreign wars. Trump campaigned, it seemed to this point, basically lying to the American people. Because you remember, one of the cornerstones of his campaign was inflation's too high. I'm going to get it day one, day two, whatever. He was going to come in. He was going to magically fix it. Inflation was going to go away. Everything was going to come down in cost. And then he comes in, he puts tariffs on everything. And you can make an argument about the long-term economic impact of U.S. manufacturing and all of that, which I think is highly debatable. But no one will debate the fact that if you put a tax on imports, that's going to increase costs, which is, of course, exactly what happened. Now, belatedly, Trump is figuring out that he set the house on fire, so maybe he ought to try to put it out. But it's really a major problem in terms of getting after the number one issue in America, and that's the high cost of living. Whether it's food, housing, insurance, healthcare, President Trump has done literally nothing to help. And in most of those areas, he's actually gone the other way. He's getting rid of the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. He's canceling energy projects all across the country, usually as an act of political revenge against Democrats. So all the policies that he's actually implementing are driving up costs. And now belatedly, he's like thinking about maybe I shouldn't do part of one of those. So, okay, that helps, but I hope he understands the bigger picture of what really needs to be done if you're going to get the cost of living under control in this country.
Congressman Adam Smith, thanks for being with us this morning.